Welcome to BrightBytes. So, we throw around the words creativity and innovation all the time, right? Sometimes we even use them like they're the exact same thing. But what if I told you that mixing them up could be the very thing that's stopping your best ideas from ever seeing the light of day? Let's figure out the difference between that initial spark and the fire that can actually change the world. You know that feeling, right? You're in the shower, on a walk, and bam, this brilliant idea just pops into your head, seemingly out of nowhere. It feels amazing, like a little bit of magic. But what you do next, that's what separates a cool thought from something that genuinely makes an impact. Okay, so here's the absolute simplest way to frame this. Creativity, that's the spark. It's that flash of imagination. But innovation, that's the fire. It's the action you take to build something real and valuable from that initial spark. All right, let's start with ingredient number one, the spark itself. I mean, what are we really talking about when we say the word creativity? So, the textbook definition is all about turning new, imaginative ideas into reality. It's about seeing things in a new way, coming up with something totally original. But, there's this huge myth out there that creativity is this magical gift that only a select few are born with. And that's just, well, it's not true. The research on this is really clear, and it totally busts that myth. Creativity isn't some rare talent reserved for artists. It's a thinking skill. And like any skill, it requires hard work, it builds on what you already know, and, this is the best part, it can be learned and developed by pretty much anyone. Yeah, it's not just for geniuses like Einstein or Picasso. It really does exist on a spectrum. And to make it even easier to grasp, researchers have broken it down into these four main categories. It's called the 4Cs model. And it's awesome because it shows how creativity is part of all of our lives, from tiny personal moments to world-changing discoveries. First up, at the very peak of the mountain, you've got Big C. This is the legendary stuff, revolutionary ideas that literally change how we see the world. Think Darwin and the theory of evolution. Then, just a step down from that, we have Pro C. This is all about professional level expertise that's been honed over years and years of practice. Think of a seasoned physicist or a world-class musician. These are the people who are pushing their fields forward every single day. Okay, now we get to where most of us live and breathe. This is little c. This is your everyday creativity, finding a clever workaround for a problem at your job or figuring out a beautiful design for your garden. It's about using novel thinking to navigate daily life. And really, it all starts right here with mini C. This is the personal insight, that little aha moment you get when you're learning something new for the first time. It's that fresh connection only you can make. This is creativity in its purest, most fundamental form. So when you see it all laid out like this, it just clicks, doesn't it? Creativity isn't this one single scary thing. It's a whole spectrum of experiences that we can all tap into, from a student figuring out a math problem in a new way to a theory that reshapes science. We've all got a place on this spectrum. Okay, so we've got the spark figured out, but what about the fire? Let's switch gears now and talk about how all this creative energy gets turned into real-world innovation. Right, so the key word here, the one thing you need to remember, is implementation. Innovation is all about action. It's the process of actually executing on a creative idea to turn it into a solution that has real value out in the world. I love this quote from Sean Hunter because it just hits the nail on the head. Innovation is the implementation or creation of something new that has realized value to others. See, it's not enough to just have the idea. It's about the hard work of making it happen and making sure it actually helps someone. All right, so we've looked at them separately. Now let's put them side by side. This is where the core differences really become obvious. Yeah, looking at this chart, it becomes crystal clear. Creativity is all about imagining things. It's a thought process. It's pretty much impossible to quantify, and hey, thinking is free. But innovation, that's a productive process. It's about doing. It's tangible, you can measure its success, and it almost always requires some kind of investment, which means, yeah, there's always a risk involved. So they are definitely different, but they are completely, fundamentally linked. You just can't have one without the other. Innovation absolutely cannot exist without that creative spark to get it started. So how exactly does a spark become a fire? Well, it's a process, it's a journey. You start with that initial idea, but you can't just skip to the end. There's this super important and often kind of messy middle ground. You've got stages like incubation, illumination, and verification. This is where creativity has to do the heavy lifting to shape and refine an idea until it's actually ready to face the real world.
You want a perfect real-world example? Look no further than the Starbucks Frappuccino. That thing started as just a creative, little C idea from a few employees at a single local store. It was cool, but it wasn't an innovation until Starbucks corporate decided to invest in it, test it, produce it, and scale it up. That's the leap. That's how a creative drink became a billion-dollar innovation.
Okay, this brings us to the big question, right? How can we actually nurture both the spark and the fire in our own lives, in our own work? How do we get more of those great ideas to make that leap and become real innovations? Well, first things first, you gotta recognize what's holding you back. Before you can build something new, you have to clear the obstacles. And way too often, it's stuff like a deep fear of failure, rigid company rules, or just not having enough time or money. These things can totally kill a fantastic idea before it even gets a chance to get off the ground. So the key really is to create an environment, whether that's just for yourself or for your whole team, that actually rewards curiosity. An environment where it's okay to take sensible risks and where failure isn't the end of the world. Instead, it's seen as a crucial learning opportunity on the path to something amazing. Look, at the end of the day, just understanding this distinction is the most important first step. You have that creative spark inside you. We all do. The real question is, what fire are you going to build with it? Hey, thanks so much for watching this Bright Bites explainer. If you got something out of this, do me a favor and share it with someone who you know has awesome ideas. And of course, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell because we've got a lot more coming that you are not going to want to miss.